Today, we're diving straight into the 6th century BCE archives of Ceylon history to unpack the story of Kuveni. She's this incredible figure whose life completely blurs the lines between actual history, ancient myth, and, frankly, a profoundly powerful cultural metaphor. Which brings us to a question that's been echoing through Sri Lankan folklore for centuries. How exactly does a fearsome demoness build an entire kingdom, only to lose absolutely everything? You know, the birth of a nation often requires this massive, unthinkable sacrifice. And Kuveni's deeply tragic story, well, it serves as the ultimate blueprint for that violent exchange.
Part 1. The Indigenous Yaksha Queen. To really wrap our heads around her legendary fall, we've got to first grasp just how massive her power was before Prince Vijaya even showed up. The Ceylon history records define Kuveni not just as some tribal leader, but as the literal first female ruler of Lanka. She belonged to the native Yaksha tribe, and legends actually recorded her as a demoness in human form. I mean, that title alone speaks volumes, right? It hints at this formidable, terrifying authority she held over the island way before any foreign ships ever appeared on the horizon. She wasn't just a local leader, she was the undisputed sovereign. Part 2. Encounter with Prince Vijaya. So, things get wild when Prince Vijaya and his exiled retinue wash up on Lanka's shores. It kicks off this thriller-like sequence of events. At first, it is incredibly hostile. Kuveni is fiercely defending her turf and actually attempts to devour Vijaya's men. But then, the tide turns instantly. The men are protected by these sacred spiritual threads. This magical defense completely flips the power dynamic. Suddenly, our fearsome queen is the one staring down death at the edge of Prince Vijaya's sword. And to survive, she makes this desperate, pivotal plea. She promises herself to Vijaya, forging the pact that would forever alter the island's destiny. Part 3. Betrayal for a Kingdom. Now, this desperate survival pact definitely saved her life and made her Vijaya's first queen, but man, it required an unthinkable price. According to academic analysis from the University of Moratuwa, Kuveni literally betrayed her own tribe to seize power for the prince. While history often just broadly credits Vijaya with founding the Sinhalese nation, the stark truth here is that he only captured Sri Lanka with the direct, devastating help of this native princess. She dismantled her own ancient indigenous power structure just to elevate a foreign, exiled prince. And she didn't just passively marry him either. She became his ultimate strategic military asset. Just think about the sheer magnitude of what she handed over. She granted his men their lives, she actively drove away her own native Yaksha tribe, and she handed him the absolute keys to the kingdom by giving him vital intelligence on Lanka's hidden resources and these incredibly detailed geographical maps. Prince Vijaya's entire rule, and honestly the foundation of a whole new nation, was built directly on the groundwork and the profound betrayal that Kuveni provided. Part 4. Legacy of the Vedas. But beyond all the military conquests and shifting borders, Kuveni's union with Vijaya left behind a deeply personal human legacy. She became the mother to exactly 2 children with the prince, a boy named Jivahata and a girl named Disala. And here is where it gets truly fascinating. Local legend dictates that these 2 kids are the direct ancestors of the indigenous Veda community. So while Kuveni's political power was eventually completely stripped away, her physical legacy, her actual bloodline, was permanently cemented into the anthropological fabric of the island. It survived through millennia, straight to this very day. Part 5. A tragic downfall. Despite her absolutely crucial role in state building, her safety was definitely not guaranteed in this new world she helped build. Looking at her timeline, it's honestly a devastating descent. She starts in phase 1 as this formidable independent ruler. Then she transitions into a pact maker just to survive, and rises again as the first queen of Vijaya. But as soon as Vijaya gets his power comfortably consolidated, Phase 4 hits. He abandons Kuveni entirely. He brings over a new, proper royal princess from India to secure his dynasty, instantly demoting Kuveni to an abandoned single parent. And her story reaches its brutal end in Phase 5. Stripped of all royal protection, she is murdered by the very Yaksha tribe she betrayed to build Vijaya's empire.
Part 6. Power, Style, and Folklore. Now, academics view this tragedy as so much more than just literal history. It's seen as a highly deliberate cultural metaphor. Researchers from the University of Moratuwa point out that her story represents a significant turning point in the antiquity of the Sinhalese. This isn't just some campfire tale meant to entertain, it is the carefully encoded narrative of a nation's origin. It's a story explicitly designed to carry the heavy, brutal realities of regime change, betrayal, and the harsh establishment of a brand new societal hierarchy. And what's absolutely captivating is how the ancients preserved this power shift. The rise and fall of political power in ancient Sri Lanka was literally encoded into folklore through metaphors about her dress styles and body adornments. As Kuveni goes from being a fearsome indigenous ruler to a Sinhala queen and finally crashes down to an exiled outcast, the very way she's clothed and adorned in the myths directly reflects her fluctuating grip on power. Ancient cultures were so clever. They essentially used fashion and adornment as a historical ledger to track who was truly in charge. So we're left looking at this stark, incredibly tragic contrast. On one side, you have the absolute indigenous authority, the feared first female ruler of Lanka. On the other, an abandoned single mother left defenseless to be murdered by her own people. She traded her absolute sovereignty to birth a new kingdom, only to become its most tragic casualty. Without her, Vijaya's establishment of the Sinhala kingdom literally does not happen. Yet her only reward for creating a nation was violent erasure and death. The curse of Kuveni leaves us with a pretty profound realization. Folklore isn't just a collection of old tales. It's a meticulously crafted ledger of who held power, exactly how they lost it, and the brutal sacrifices that forged nations. If the violent rise and fall of ancient kingdoms are hiding right in front of us, encoded in metaphors of style and adornment, it really forces us to ask, what other dark historical truths are still waiting to be decoded in the myths we take for granted every single day?